Today's session is all about setting up those art success systems. And systems and success, they sort of belong together, because if you start systemizing certain things about your art and your art business, you will set yourself up for more success. And that success is a big word. It can mean different things to different people, but actually it's just a way to see more results. That is success, seeing more results, that your efforts aren't in vain, that you're actually doing it for some reason, and you're seeing people respond to the things that you're doing. You're maximizing your time, you're getting more organized, and that's what these systems are for. And we're going to be looking at 3 systems that you can start setting up in your art career, your art business, just in your artistry itself, and the creation process. And really excited to share this with you, because it's going to make your life so much easier. If you're just joining, please use that comment area and tell us who you are, where you're from, and what kind of art you're making. We'd love to hear from you. This is a different time zone for most people, so I know that some people won't be able to join us, but if you're here for the replay, hello, you're also welcome to use the comments, because we do go back and read them all. All right, so what are those art business systems? Well, before we get there, I just want to briefly introduce myself. Originally from the Netherlands, originally from South Africa, lived in the Netherlands for many years, and now have moved back to South Africa. My name is Sonja Smal here, and I'm in Cape Town at this moment, where we're broadcasting from. I'm an artist. I love everything creative. I love making. I love using my hands. I love the creative process. And I'm passionate about art. I've been a struggling artist for many years myself, and went to the art academy, saw how to paint, to draw, and the techniques, but not how to market and sell your art. So this is very personal for me too, why I'm helping artists as a coach and also as a course creator, because your art is super important. Your voice is important, what you have to say, your products, the things that you have to share are super valuable for our world. And it's a pity if it's just stuck in your studio. You need to get them out there. And that's why I've got a podcast. I have a course that I share that I have once a year. It's called the Working Artist Course. It's a 12-week course with 10 modules that has a whole framework of how you can market your art, how you can be a better artist, how you can create a better body of work, elevate your work, and how to market that with the right audience. So if you want to join in, you are welcome from March next year, but we do have a wait list, and then I can keep you posted about all the things that are happening and how you can best prepare for the course. You are in the Help I'm Artist Facebook community. Welcome, welcome, welcome if you're here for the first time or just getting to know us. We are here usually live every week around 1 p.m. CET time. Just today, because of blackouts, we are here earlier. But the replay, of course, is in the Facebook community and on my website and YouTube channel if you want to watch the replays ever. I try and focus on different themes every year, and this theme for the year and also for the month, for October, we're looking at getting confident as an artist, artistic confidence. And that's systems can help you get more confidence. And we're going to be talking about that shortly. If you haven't had the chance to fill out the Art Challenge quiz, you still can. It's on my website. If you go to my website, sonjasmalje.com, there is a button on the right top hand corner that says quiz. And there are brief questions that you can fill out, which is not only interesting for yourself, because you'll have to formulate what your challenges are, what kind of art you're making, your art vision, and what you want to learn also in this community, which helps me then again to create content that's relevant. Because I can make up lovely themes, but if they're not relevant and it's not helping you, then I'm not really achieving my objective. And that's really is the goal of this community, to help you take steps moving forward your art and your art business. So as I said, we are in a series all about cultivating confidence as a creative, because I think confidence, or the lack of confidence, is a huge reason why we're not growing and not moving forward. We're timid and fearful, or very conscious of the opinions of people, and that can keep us so in the wrong space. And we need to move forward with confidence. Next week, we're going to talk about fearless creativity. How do you step out into that confidence zone? And then we're going to be looking at the last week of October, working in your superpowers. We all have superpowers, the things that we're just good at, the things that are naturally us, that cost us no energy. What are those things and how you can use them in your artistry? That's for the last session of the month. But today we're going to be looking at cultivating confidence by setting up systems, art, business, success systems. And we're looking at 3 areas that you're going to be doing that. Now, can you learn, get, or nurture confidence, artistic confidence? Where does artistic confidence come from? That's a question that it's good for you to think about. Can you learn it? Do you get it? Do you just find it? Do you wake up one moment and think, oh, I feel more confident? It's a whole process, and I like to see it the way that artistic confidence comes through doing, through practicing, through having small wins. And throughout the series, we're going to be looking at different areas that you can start cultivating, because that's what it is, cultivating confidence. And first of all, you need to be aware of the areas where you're not confident or lacking trust or lacking skill, maybe that you feel insecure. And once you know that, you can analyze that and do something about it. You'll see you're going to start to grow. And you'll show up differently. You'll walk differently. You'll paint differently. You'll make your jewelry differently because you're feeling better about what you're doing. You're actually enjoying what you're doing, liking what you're doing, even though it's not in the place where you always want it to be. So it really is a process, and it's in doing. Because if you're going to stay in that place of where you have, lacking that confidence or trust, it's going to keep you from moving forward and from developing your skills. So this is so key for an artist's life, is to find artistic confidence in yourself, confidence in your art, and confidence in how you communicate in that with your art audience. Confidence comes by doing. And we're going to look at those systems that you can use to move forward with more confidence and with more clarity, because those two go together. What is a system? A system is a set of principles or procedures according to which you do something. So it's something that's systemized. It's something that you are setting up very intentionally so that you can move forward, so that you can get something done. It's an organized system and method. And I know this is something maybe not very natural for many of us, because we are thinking out the box, all different associations with the things that we're doing. We love free, we don't want systems. But I can tell you the systems can start serving you, and they can start making your life a lot easier. So let's look at the areas where you can systemize in your art business, because there are many moving parts to an artist's life, an art business. That's you as the artist, it's your art, and it's your art audience. This is the 3 areas I focus also on in the Working Artist course, because these 3 areas you need to get clarity about and start streamlining and getting more intentional, and then you start hitting your targets. When you know who you are as an artist, if you're clear about your art, what you love to make, working in your superpowers, you can start reaching an audience with more passion, with more conviction, with more enthusiasm, and that is your marketing asset. You're passionate about what you're doing, it's going to be super infectious for your art audience. And to create systems around your art and your art business will give you that clarity and will boost your confidence. So 3 areas that we're going to be looking at as far as setting up systems. The first one is in the area of learning. The second is about creating. And the third is a growth system for your art business. But to start with the learning, the system of learning, we have to go back and look at the big picture. We need to zoom out, and we're going to be going back in time and looking at art history and how the art world looks now, with many self-taught artists, with many artists in different genres, with all the technology that's such an asset for us, that we can learn, that we can go online, watch YouTube movies. That's not how it used to be. It used to be way different. And if we go way back, we go to the guild system. That was a system that was in place before artists were called artists. They were called artisans, and it was a calling. As an artist, as a creative person, it was recognized in your family that you had aptitude for creativity, for making something, with working with your hands. And your parents were on the lookout, and they're saying, okay, Sue, you have talent. We see that you have aptitude for working with your hands, for making things. And they would connect you with a guild and with a master. So there was a master teacher that would take you through the processes of learning. And there was a whole system in place. And in some countries, it's still going, the guild system in Germany and in Switzerland. There are still guild systems in place for different crafts and different masons, different specialities. The guild system is still working, which was a very safe place to learn, very confident place, because you knew it was recognized by your parents, by your family. The master took you in his home. Usually you lived with the master, and then you'd go to the studio and learn from the master, the painter, the mason, whatever area of expertise. And you had a set system of learning. So you learned skills as a student, you learned skills as a journeyman, you then later learned as a master, and then as a grandmaster, where you made the cathedral or the organ pipes of, it was your big work of your life's work, actually. So that was a very safe way of learning. Mind you, there were no artists. You didn't have creative freedom. You couldn't just create what you wanted to, like you didn't sculpt something in the church. That was something that was what you want to do. No, there were all strict guidelines and rules. So very controlled environment. But definitely if you're a craftsperson, it was a safe place because you had a system around your learning. Moving forward out of the Middle Ages, going into the Renaissance, creativity got a little bit more free. Michelangelo started doing things, Da Vinci started doing things. We see in the Renaissance, people started finding their creative expressions, and the word artist started developing. And there was a great need to learn creatives the basics, how to paint, how to draw, how to draft, how to create architecture. And so the academy system came to life in many capitals all around Western Europe. Art academies were started, and people could apply. There was a procedure, much like it is today, where you had to show a portfolio, and then you were accepted as a student in the academy. Also, very strict set structure. So I'm talking pre-World War II. It was very clear about the classical way of drawing, principles of color theory, of perspective, of composition. It was all written down in books, mainly from France, and there was a stipulated way of doing things. So a lot of the masters that we know, also later, we know Renoir and Van Gogh. Well, he tried to go to the academy. He was kicked out of the academy in Antwerp because he wanted to do it himself. Mondrian, you were seen as an artist. Then you were going or recognize your talents by your family. Then you were going to the art academy. And fortunately, later also for the female artists, there were academies available, and you learned set structures. So there again, it was a safe place that you could call yourself an artist because you had academic training and you had the basics of your craft, and you were recognized, and then there was a certain set path for you to walk out. Moving forward, today's system, we have a totally different landscape when it comes to the system of learning. It's become so universal, especially with the digital possibilities, that you don't even need to go to an academy. You can learn yourself. However, there's no one that's, many times your aptitude or your talent as a creative is not recognized by your family. It's not something that's encouraged or cheered on. It's something that you feel so deeply, that you're passionate about, that you do, but you think, how am I going to make this into a career? How am I going to turn your talents, your giftings into some kind of revenue stream? And now you have to find your own system of learning. And that's something that excuse me, turn that off. That you have to find a way that you can develop your skill set, because not all of us are in the ability to go to an academy. And fortunately, there's so much available nowadays so that you can learn online or go to courses or join an academy. daytime or part-time courses that are affiliated with school. So there is a place for you to learn. But this can cause some insecurity because it hasn't been cheered on with your family, your friends, and your friends or the people around you don't always recognize the gifting that you have. You're trying to find out, I'm passionate about this, so I take a course, but there are all kinds of questions that start coming up. And this could be a big reason of feeling, having that lack of artistic confidence because it hasn't been nurtured in a set system. How do you know that you're an artist? Is your art any good? These might be questions that you are asking. Why would anyone buy my art? These are questions that I get time and time again as an art coach too, because there's no framework that you have or like a measuring stick that you have to say, okay, you've done this, this is where you are now, this is where you should be going. We're all trying to find our way with the thousands of possibilities that are out there. So you need a framework that you can measure where you are as an artist in your artistry, so that you can take steps. You can assess, okay, I'm missing this. I need to get this in my skill set so that I can move forward. And this will give you a huge confidence boost because you know that you're prepared. So that was my challenge for you for this first part of these systems is a system of learning. You need to assess where you are right now as an artist. And I think a lot with the social media time where we are supposed to be projecting that we are these serious professional artists, or we have, we have a creative business, that sometimes we get a little bit murky about really assessing where we are. And once you get clear about where you are in the process, whether you're a starter, a student, you're an emerging artist, experienced artist, whether you're an established artist, these are all steps in your artist success path. Success moving you towards your bigger goals and your art dream. And just coming to the realization of where you are and really being honest with yourself is such a good starting point to beautiful things, because every artist out there has started somewhere. So if you're a starter and you haven't exhibited before and you're still working on your skill set, this is something that you can settle in. There's such advantages to being a starter because there's not that pressure. And so take the pressure off yourself that you think that you're supposed to be projecting yourself as this big established artist. Meanwhile, you're still having to learn your skill set. And it takes a process, it's a path, it's a step. You're going to be moving forward and developing as you are doing the work. So getting clear about where you are, assessing who you are as a person, where your art skills are, that is going to give you confidence because you're going to own the space. So that is an important starting point if you want to make your artistry and turn that into a serious business. So how do you assess where you are? You can ask. So that's one thing I loved about being at the Art Academy, even though there were frustrating times, was the assessment times when the teachers would come and have to show your work in front of all the class, all your work, not just curate the best pieces. They wanted to see your developments, and they do critique sessions. And these were the most horrifying, but also the most gratifying times, because then you had the assess moments. And maybe you aren't in that situation, you can ask people. I'll talk a little bit about that. You can listen to how people are reacting to your things, and not just people giving you thumbs up on Instagram. Great, wonderful, wonderful. That's great to have cheerleaders. It was wonderful, positive space. But listen to the right kind of people that have trained their eye, that have skill sets. Listen to what they are saying and be brave enough to embrace your teachers and apply that to your work so that you can set up your system of growing, so that you can move forward. And you can evaluate your own situation and say, okay, I want to do more perspective drawing. So I need to train in this area. Evaluate your skill set. Where are you lacking certain things, and what courses can you take? What books can you read? What exercises can you really teach yourself to move forward in this area? So write down everything that you need to learn in order to grow. And a possibility is to really ask an expert. You can book an appreciation session or a critique session, and they are available online. A friend of mine, Marion de Jong, she's the head of the Dutch Art Academy. It's an online academy, and she has amazing courses. If you really want to learn your drawing skills, your color skills, and want to learn more about the Academy study, then please go and have a look at her website. But she does offer an art appreciation session for an X amount, and I know she's got a special on at the moment. You can have a 1 hour face-to-face with Marion. And then she'll look at your work, she'll talk about your artistic qualities, and then she can assess with you. It's like, maybe you need to focus more on drawing. Maybe you need to dive into your color theory. Maybe you need to take a class in sculpting or modeling, or you need to get more into perspective, just to assess where you are. And that is going to help you. You can own the space and make steps forward. Say, in the next few years, I'm going to focus on this area and really hone in on my skill set. So this is your system of learning, getting clear where you are, where you want to grow towards, what your passions are, and what you can do to fill in the gaps. Does this make sense? Anyone in a system of learning or in a trajectory of learning? I'd love to hear from you if this is something that is resonating with you. Hi, Marcia and Ursula. Good to have you here from Switzerland. And Lonnie is here from Berlin. Wonderful that that you've been able to join. Is anyone here, do you recognize what I'm saying? Is sometimes there can be a lack of confidence because you're not quite sure where you are in the process. And just getting clear, assessing or going for a consultation, a critique session will really help you so that you can make logical steps for the future. Let me know before we move to the second system. Glad that you guys were able to join. I know we're earlier than normal, so it's good that you are here. Hello there from Lesotho. Good that you could join. Well, always wonderful to see you. So please. Oh, Marcia, I see your comments. I did notice learning gives me more confidence, but you've been assessing yourself. Sorry about that. That's where it starts, Marcia. Really having a clear look and an honest look of what you have, seeing what you still need, putting it down on paper and getting intentional about it so that you can get a more complete skill set so that you can move forward and just make better art. And that, it'll just be a cycle. People will respond, you'll start selling more, you'll have more wins, you'll have more control over your medium, over your paintbrush, over your colors, over your techniques, and that already would be such a confidence boost. What's the system of creating? That's the second system we're going to be looking at. I love this quote. I think it just brings it right there to the point that people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits. And their habits decide their futures. That creating a system, a habit around the things that you're doing with your artistry will bring you forward, will bring you towards where you're going. And habits are powerful things. And I know maybe some of you are getting allergic reactions because we want everything but habits. We want to be out of systems. We want to be free. We want to be creative. We want to explore things. And yes, those are all part of a creative's life. But creating habits, healthy, good habits, because habits aren't good or bad, they can be both. But getting into good habits in your artistry, in your art routine, can make a world of difference and will give you confidence because you know what you're doing. So do you have art habits? Something that you do maybe in your day, in your week? That's how you set up your palette. Maybe you arrange your colors in a certain way. Maybe you start the day always putting on some music. That's one of my habits. When I go into a creative process, I always have my moments with my coffee, and then I put on loud music, and I just am playing with my materials. So no deadline, no someone looking over my shoulder, no pressure, just being creative because I love being creative. That's where it all starts. And that's a habit that I've always done, and just owning my creative space and making that part of my routine. So do you have any art habits that you have? Maybe that's a book that you read, or maybe you always are going for a walk before you go into your studio or before you get into a creative space. There are all kinds of habits that you have. Maybe you are doing your social media on the Monday, or you are writing your newsletter on the Friday. These are all habits. You're getting into something that you don't even have to think about. Because every habit that you add to your routine is going to save you energy. Because everything you don't have to think about saves you energy. And also something that, your thinking takes so many calories. I did a search once about how many calories it takes to think about things. And if you're trying to reinvent the wheel every single day, doing things in different ways, it just takes a lot of energy. So the energy savers come when you turn something into a routine. Like brushing your teeth. Your parents taught you, or your caregivers taught you how to brush your teeth every morning and every evening. You brush your teeth. You don't have to think about it. In the morning, like, okay, I need to get there. You don't have to. It doesn't cost you a lot of time. It's part of your habit, something that's so instinctive. You just do it and you get it done. So creating habits in your art routine and setting up rituals or certain things at set times, it's going to save you huge amounts of energy, because you're not only building your artistry, but you're building a business. And habit forming in business is very important, because then it's going to cut out the chaos, the mist, and all the blurs. It's going to give you some structure around your day, around your week, because you are going to work. You want to set up those healthy structures and systems. Just some tips about where you can, how you can set up some kind of structure and system around your creative process, is to take a note of your time. So take a week and just write down, maybe you can reflect on last week, how you used your time. Start by making a schedule at the beginning of the week. Usually I do that on Sunday evenings, and I look at my week and I look at my schedule, what's going to be happening, and then I allocate sort of moments in my agenda when to do what. And then you can go back at the end of the week and you can say, okay, was I effective? Did it work? Was I over ambitious? Did I reserve too little time for it? Or did I have time left over? Or didn't I get it done because I got totally distracted? So that you sort of assess your time, because time is our best friend sometimes, well, our worst friend sometimes, but it can be your best friend in your business, because your time is so precious. And you need time to develop your skills, to make your art, to build your business. And the more structured you can get in that and put a system in place, it's going to really help you. And then make a list of your priorities. So every week should have like 3 or 4 main priorities. It's getting that painting done, or going to the framers, or getting your website up to par. So set up main priorities and then the sub priorities below that, so that you have some kind of idea of what you'd like to have achieved by the end of your work week. And then plan when you're going to do them. So put them in your schedule. And then work according to a rhythm. This really helps. Like Monday morning, you are sending out social posts, so you're doing a planning for your social posts. On Wednesday, you're sending out your newsletter. On Friday, you're going to be checking your website if all the links are still active. That's the business side. And then you're starting at a certain time, not just when you feel like it. So you start to work at 9 o'clock or at 12 o'clock, or whenever how your body clock works. You have a set time to work. It's like, then I'm going to work 2 hours, and I'm going to have a coffee break. I'm going to have go for a walk. So you set yourself an allocated time, and that really helps for you to be more productive and getting into a rhythm. Also researching, getting your art supplies, getting that into some kind of system. And then creating rituals, something that really gives you energy, that, well, like I was saying, with the music, or with that cup of coffee, or, watching a movie, or reading a book before you're starting, just to get your creative juices going. And I'm really curious if any of you that are here, or maybe watching later in the replay, have art making rituals, something that you do to get yourself into the creative flow, to get yourself focused. Love to know if any of you have those rituals. And they can be, I'm always surprised at the different rituals people have. Please share it in the group. Love to know if anyone has them and what they are. Maybe we can learn from one another and be inspired. of how you go about starting, because there's a starting point of your creative process, and then there's the end part of maybe how you're setting up your studio, or maybe when you start the day, you are arranging your materials in a certain way. Can be anything. So if you have an art making ritual, please pop them in the comments. It can be even after the session is finished, because I'm always interested to read. I see Belinda's here. Hello, Belinda. Good to have you in the session. Please also share where you are and what kind of art you're making, and your URLs and your handles for Instagram and Facebook, and that is for all of you, so we can follow each other. I'd love to hear more about you and what you are doing as an artist. So share your art making rituals. I'll also be making a post in the group sometime in this series, because it's always, that's part of a system. It's part of something that you don't think about. It's something that you enjoy doing. Margie says she puts on music, my apron. Look at what I've done before, and then I make my first batch of glue and ease into making my music. So that's something that you do instinctively. That's a process that you're in. Thank you for sharing, Margie. I can just see that in front of me, and that's how you can get started for your work day, and important to have those. So we've looked at a system of learning. How can you cultivate your skill set? What do you need to add so that you can get more confident as an artist? About creating your work, about your routine, setting up rituals and a system that you have more organization around your creative process. And the third is setting up a system of growth, because you're the artist, but you're also the entrepreneur, the business person. And there you want to see growth. So all the steps that you're doing, all that social posting and that communicating on the writing the blog or having an open studio, is because you want to see growth. I mean, that's a given. I think we all want to see growth. We all want to move forward in the things that we're doing. And this is not something that's just going to be happening. Just think of a plant. A plant ain't just going to grow by itself. You need to give it water. You need to nurture it. You need to prune it. You need to know what season it's in. You need to know what kind of fertilizer or food it needs so that it can grow. And it's the same with your business. And you can set up systems of growth that facilitate growth for your art business. And that starts with an effective plan. You hear me saying that very often. You are an artist and a business owner. Your business will not grow by itself. Your art won't get out there just by chance. You need a plan. And so a planner, if you haven't got it yet, 2022 is out, get a planner. And so you can start working according to a certain cycle, and that's a system, a cycle of creation. And the more fixed you are with that, it's not only clear for yourself, it's clear for your audience. And you're going to see far more peace in your studio, far more structure around your business. You can anticipate also your growth, your income. You can anticipate for drier seasons, because we all have the drier seasons and we have the wetter seasons where we have more income. We need to anticipate for the drier seasons. You can plan those out, being really intentional. And I've taught this in the different sessions that we've had, that I worked according to a creation cycle. And I want to encourage you to do that too, is that there are 4 quarters of the year. Break your year down into 4 quarters. So you have the 12 months that go into the 3 months, that go into the weeks, that go into the days, and get a feel about that. Because then you have an idea, okay, when are the important parts in your cycle? When is your audience buying? Or when is your art form most likely to be more sold? When is the season for your creativity to shine? And you can anticipate, if you're thinking ahead, you're putting it into some kind of creation system. So have a look at your planner and then plan ahead and start with the end date. So you have we've looked at that in this previous session, is that you have the pre-launch time, you have a launch time and a post-launch time. And that's launching is like the rocket booster. You are launching a collection, you're launching a product, you're launching an event, a workshop, a book, a seminar, whatever you are making known to the public, you should have those on your calendar. And if you're thinking, Sonia, I'm not there yet, Then you are in pre-launch mode. You're making your art, you're developing your skill set, but you can put something on the calendar and say, okay, then in 12 months, I will be ready. That's my goal. In 12 months, in October next year, I want to launch a collection, a small body of work that I want to show at a local gallery or an exhibition space that you're going to be setting up yourself, or you want to have your new design collection done. Put something on the calendar this week. Put it down so that you have that little dot on the horizon, so that you can start putting systems in place to grow your business. We all need those little dots to move towards. Otherwise, you're just going to be busy with that, and you're going to be busy with that, and you're going to be totally distracted. You're going to be overwhelmed, and you won't see growth in your business. So you need to put that into some kind of system. If you want to go back and see and learn more about how to create that launch plan, then please go to the session. It's creating a stellar launch plan. It was a few sessions ago. It's in the Facebook community, but also on my website or YouTube channel, and you can have a look and see how does that creation cycle work and how can you add that to your business. Then there's all kinds of systems that you can add to your business to make your life a lot easier. Start by getting really intentional about what you're posting. And I think this is where so many energy drainers happen, is the social media. It costs you so much energy. You'd rather be painting, drawing, making your mosaics, your ceramics, your jewelry. And it's like, oh, but I also need to be social planning. If every morning, Monday morning, you sit down and say, okay, I want to make 5 posts this week. You can schedule them with a scheduler. They're not expensive. Even some of them are free. You can schedule on Facebook even. There's a scheduler right there in the sense part. Schedule posts. So you do that on a Monday morning for 1 hour. You get all your content together and you plan it for the week. Then you are ready. You don't have to think about it. And if that becomes a habit, then there is going to be so much more space and room in your mind, in your heart, and in your life to do other things. Set up an autoresponder on your email. So if you're out of the office or you can't respond to emails straight away, send an autoresponder. So you're not thinking, I have to answer my emails, I have to answer my emails, you have to answer my emails. You say very clearly, I've answered my emails on the Monday and on the Friday or on the Wednesday, whenever you want to answer your emails. I'm in my studio creating right now. I'm a one-man band, a one-woman show. I can't do everything at the same time. You can make it very fun in your tone of voice autoresponder, and it takes the pressure off so that you have time to do what you really want to do. So you can plan when you're going to be looking at your emails. Not every notification, bling, and then looking at your cell phone. No, turn notifications off and you get intentional about how you're using your time. It's going to save you so much energy. Add an email signature. This is something you can automate. And as much as you can automate, you should automate, because that's a system that's going to be working for you. So that when people send you an email, you have a lovely signature that tells you details, maybe your latest event or your contact details, set expectations, a link to your website or your shop. Use that space, that signature space. Put a nice voice message on your phone. I mean, we all have phones, and sometimes the most boring voice messages that are out there. Use them as a marketing asset. Say, I'm in my studio right now, I'm busy with a new collection. By the way, it's going to be coming out at the end of the month. Make a voice message on your mobile phone. It's automated. It can keep your business traction going. Use an email service provider. We've talked about that too in previous sessions, where you're setting up an email to promote and to market your work. Email service providers, you can gather the email addresses, you can archive them, you can segment them into languages, into different subjects, where you want to send what event to, whether it's a student of a workshop or someone that has bought art from you before, or they're gallerists or curators. You can set up systems to organize your emails, but don't get overwhelmed. Start simple. Start simple. It's all about setting up structures around your information. And it's just like working in the creation cycle. You have a system going. You're working in a collection model. There's something that you have put into a time frame. So that will give you more clarity, which will make you feel more confident. Archiving your images. We all know it. I'm super guilty. I have thousands of images on my phone. That's like my diary. I take them all over the place. Archive them. Have a system in place so that you're ready are either favoriting things or putting little hearts there, or you say, okay, this is something that I can use for an Instagram post. This is something I can use in my blog. This is inspiration, and set a time aside, like Wednesday morning, I'm going to spend half an hour archiving my images. So you have content in different files, and that's also the computer file logic that comes after that, that you have a logical system on your computer. Where are your images going? Where is your inspiration going? So that you have files on your computer, that you don't have to look all over the place for where is the content. I'm super guilty of that. And I then spend 5-10 minutes trying to find an image that I want to use in a post or in some artwork, and I just can't find it. Or I've put, a subject that I think, what did I call that? And it takes too much time. So something I'm teaching myself now is to get more organized and structured in my content, in my images, so that you have an image archive. It's also good for when you're making your portfolio, when you're having to present your work, it's right there. So think logically, make a mind map, putting it on paper, what you think you need, what content you need for your promotion, for your marketing, for your website, for your social media, and make files in your computer. Get it out of your phone, put it in those files, and so that it's there and ready. The systems will start working for you. And then if you have questions that come up quite often about pricing, about shipping, about how you work, if you work on commissions, make an FAQ on your computer. So you have little texts. You can do it in Google Docs, or you can do it in notes, in your memo. Make little notes about that's reoccurring questions. So you don't have to answer emails all the time. You just copy paste and make it personal, and then you can send your email. That really helps. And I know maybe you're thinking, I'm just starting, I don't have frequently asked questions. If you keep moving and growing, you are going to get them. So you can start short little answers. Even in your Insta, people start following you on Instagram. How cool is that? The people personally respond and say, thank you for following me. This is what you can expect. This is what I'm going to be sending. I'd love to connect with you too. You make a note in your note file on your mobile, you copy paste, put their name there, and then every follow you thank them. And the chances are far more that they're going to be motivated to follow you far more closely. You're going to, when you post a story or something on your grid, they're going to see. So make that automated, or not automated, but put it in a file, in a box, a file somewhere that you can copy and paste that. So these are just some of the systems that you can have in place. It's not an exclusive list. Please let me know in the comments if you have a system, something that you are doing in your business side that makes your life a lot easier. I'd love to know. I love systems. I've just seen how that has made such a huge difference. Hey, Belinda says she's from Somerset West. That's around the corner. Good to see you. Just going to watch the time because we're going to head into a blackout in a few minutes. So I'm going to end of the session shortly. Not quite yet. So don't have to go yet, but just have to watch the time so that we don't fade out all at once. So please share in the comment area if you have some kind of business system in place, whether it's with your email or with your scheduling or with your how you are communicating your marketing materials, something that you've automated that makes your life easier. So think about it. How can you add that to your week so that there are programs out there that it doesn't have to be expensive, but it's going to make your life easier. So what I would suggest is make a list of all the things that need to be done besides making your art. What marketing, what communication, what social media posting you're doing, whether you're using a sales channel such as your website or a third party, what actions do you need to take that are recurring and that you could automate and add to some kind of system. Let me know if you have a system in place or to do something that makes your life a lot easier. Also in the replay comments, please, because I'm always interested to hear what people are doing so that you can see growth. So what growth system can you add to your business? So give it some thought this week in all these areas, whether it's a system of learning, assess where you are, what do you need to add to your skill set so that you can move forward with more confidence and really say, I'm an artist, I've developed my skills, I'm developing my skills. Be really real where you are in your process so that you can move forward and you see growth in your creativity. Develop an art making ritual and create a work routine, like you're going to work. How do you start? Even if you have another job or you're not quite there yet as a full-time artist, maybe you have every Monday that you have organized a babysitter, or you have Thursday evening. That is a routine. You are starting at a certain time, you are working in a certain space, you're prepared, you're not just spontaneously haphazardly creating, you have a plan. And that's where the growth is going to start. For your business to determine clear objectives and work according to a solid plan. And this is something you can grow towards. So don't think and beat yourself over the head and think, I'm not a planner, I don't know how to do this, I'm overwhelmed. You can, of course, book a coaching session. I'd love to take this through with you and make a clear trajectory. That sometimes just helps to ask and to reflect. So that's something I do with many artists all over the world, is take them through steps so that they have some clarity, get out of the mist, and just assess where they are, where they're going, and what steps they need to take to grow towards their larger art goals. Or take a piece of paper, write it down yourself, find help with a friend, or like what I mentioned, Marion, if you want to do a critique session with her, an assessment about your art. Invest in your art and your art career, because then you're going to see growth. It's not just going to happen automatically. So guys, that's the end of this session about setting up systems, art success systems for your learning, for your creativity, and for your art business. I'd love to hear some feedback also in the comments area as we progress over these next few weeks about cultivating confidence so that you can move forward with more boldness, and really, because you'll see it in your art. If you're insecure about your artistry, about your own artistic skills, you'll show how you're going to be putting down your brush, how you're going to be working on that stone, how you're going to be moving, how you're going to be writing about your art. That's going to reflect in everything. So the more confident you get into the confidence zone, it's going to help you make better art and just feel much, you're going to feel better about yourself too. So I know it's a process, and it comes through doing. Next week, we're going to be looking at brave creativity, fearless creativity, how you can move forward in the creative, focus a little bit more on your creativity, how you can do that with less trepidation, come to peace with your inner critic and who you are as a person, your creating from authenticity. That all has to do with that fearless creativity. And you're going to see you're going to get wings, and you're going to start doing it with so much more fun and pleasure. So that's next week. Hope to see you in the session, and see you in the community, in the comment area, or next week at 1 p.m. Central European Time for Fearless Creativity. Have a wonderful afternoon, and see you in the session. Bye.